Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Live with Brink of Speed and Octane Hour. Sorry, I had that on a different page there, but now we're back. Tonight, we have a very special guest. We have Mr. Joe Lamb, Super 8 Creations, in the house with us tonight. So give him a big welcome and a big thumbs up. And we've got, as usual, Robert from Corvette World. And so you'll get the three of us tonight. We're going to talk about, will GM's crazy new C8 variant have 1,500 horsepower or somewhere around there? So we're excited to talk about this subject tonight. Also, before I get on to anything else, remember Corvette Invasion is this weekend. That's actually why Joe is here, because we are traveling down to Bastrop, Texas, starting Friday morning. And we're going to be spending Friday, Saturday there and just having a blast. I think it's sold out now, so if you try and get tickets, you're not going to be able to do so anymore. But this is the first year I've been in probably 4 years, I think. And Sean, if he's on here, he can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I think this is the first year in that many years that it's been sold out. So that's pretty cool. That means there's going to be a lot more vets there than I've ever seen. And the fact that he's saying there's going to probably be, or 42 ZR1s have registered. So hopefully we'll get some of the new ZR1s that pop up and get to see those too. Maybe take a ride in one of them.
That'd be nice.
Did you ever get to ride in Stevens or Michaels?
No, I
okay.
didn't. Nope, didn't get a chance to.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know who Steven and Michael are, they are the ones at Paragon that have the white and the purple ZR1s that they dynoed. And Joe was
there, yeah.
You were there at that event.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's why I was asking if he got a ride in a ZR1. So, all righty. So, guys, we're going to go to a little bit different thing here for the NCM, because you guys know we're brought to you by the NCM. But to try and avoid what usually happens while we're on the NCM website, we are just going to pull up a screen recording of the NCM and see if this works. Hopefully it will. But as I said, we are brought to you by the NCM. They are the very best, in my opinion, insurance out there for collectible cars. If you own a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, a McLaren, a Porsche, a Corvette, doesn't matter. It qualifies. As you're seeing on the screen here, there's a Porsche GT3 RS. So, and there's a Ferrari. So if you own one of those cars, you only drive it about 6,000 miles or less a year. You have a garage to put it in, and you have a second car that you call your daily driver, then you would qualify for this insurance. All you got to do is go up here, click Get a Quote, and fill out the information. Make sure you put in there BOS 2025 so they know you're coming from Brink of Speed. And you're good to go. They will send you an email. You'll fill out the rest of the information, and then they'll give you a call. And there's going to be people on here that will tell you they save anywhere from hundreds of dollars a year to thousands of dollars a year with this insurance. So it's good stuff. I highly recommend you check it out. And the customer service there is absolutely phenomenal as well. And Mr. Joe Lamb, that's sitting next to me here, him and I put our heads together and we came up with a really cool design. And I was going to camera 2 to show you that so that it zooms in closely to it. Let me wait for that to pop up. All right, there. Now you guys can see. So this is the front. It is the ZR1X hyper-Vette. Remember, I coined that right off the bat. And the back of it is really neat.
Something new.
Can they see it good?
Yeah.
Cool. I'll see you out on the road. All right. So you guys know the shirt now. So they are on the website, thebrinkofspeed.com. Right now, you can go on and purchase. So if you're wanting this shirt, it's going to definitely be a very popular shirt. The ZR1 shirt that I made last year for Carlisle was definitely popular. I think this is going to be the same.
Yeah, you sold out of all those shirts too. I brought a bunch of them down to Carlisle.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, they were gone. Yeah. So
yeah,
glad everybody enjoyed them.
All right, so let's get back on track. The first thing that I wanted to discuss is the ZR1 versus the Lambo video. Have you guys seen that? That is on Drag Times, and it's also on the channel Wheeler, who is the owner of that white ZR1 that Drag Times went up against. I would definitely recommend checking that out if you haven't checked it out yet. The only thing that was a little bit disappointing about that video is the first race they ran, the ZR1 took the win, and then after that, the ZR1 lost the other races. So I kind of feel like Drag Times has all the experience.
I was just going to say, okay.
Go ahead.
Very experienced Drag Time on his home turf.
Right.
Okay? Just ask Demonology. He knows. Shout out. Also, again, that ZR1 is barely broken in. We know it. It's probably just past the mileage to be able to do it safely.
Right.
And again, no, again, this is Drag Time's home turf. The all-wheel drive makes it easier even in the heat. And a car that's barely broken in, and I don't know the guy that drove it, but, probably not as experienced as Drag Time. So.
And General Lee just made a statement that I agree with 100%. Street speed, once he gets his car running right, I feel like if he does bring it down to Drag Time's territory, Mike is definitely going to take the W on those.
Yeah.
Because Mike knows what he's doing. For sure. I'm not trying to
say
Wheeler doesn't.
No, and Wheeler, again, I'm sure this is going to motivate him to practice. So, Wheeler, shout out, seriously, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Just practice that thing. And not only that, it was hot. I mean, it was like over 100 out there. I mean.
The DA was bad.
Yeah, just the trap prep wasn't the best. I remember Drag Times mentioned that. Right. So, look, at the end of the day, but still, regardless, let's just say all the odds were against him. It was still neck and neck the whole way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, these are two hypercars racing each other, and again, it's any given Sunday. Yeah. That's what's great. We have this for a chunk less of the price.
It's like what happened with me and Jesse.
Yeah.
Last time we went, it was like unbelievable how neck and neck our cars were, yet he was still getting a better time with, than I was, and that was fine. There was definitely some reasons behind that. We don't know exactly what the reason was, but we both concluded that it was probably the extra weight.
Well, it's the extra weight, and you said you lowered the suspension thing.
Yeah.
Because again, you got to have that give.
Right. But but I mean, I was getting 10.7s the first time I ran my car.
But was it that temperature though?
No, it wasn't that.
Yeah, it was hot. It was hot.
But at night, it wasn't as hot.
True.
So,
but the prep wasn't
as good either. That's true. Yeah. It all kind of fell apart. So
you can tell we're a bunch of car guys. So you look at every little thing matters.
Every little detail.
It doesn't matter, but you win by an inch or a mile.
It kind of made me wonder. Like, I didn't know if maybe he had like a solar device on his car, if there was something. But then I think you mentioned that they were both totally stock, with the exception of the wheels, and then your lower suspension. So. Sometimes cars are just built on a Monday, and sometimes they get a little bit more juice because of whatever. So
I agree 100%. By the way, I'm really happy to have you here, man.
I'm glad to be here. This is surreal. It's really cool seeing how you guys do what you do. I mean, a lot of work goes into this, and I appreciate it even more now.
Well, good to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And yes, Elijah, you are 100% correct. And again, that Lambo got off to a jump during that, and his ZR1 caught it in the long, so.
Yeah.
He's talking about that Haggerty video.
Oh, yeah. So what's interesting about that is they kind of downplayed that. You heard Drag Times and Wheeler downplayed the Haggerty video. They both did in both their videos, and it was interesting to hear them talk about how that's production, and they want, certain manufacturers to look better than others. And that may be true, but I don't think that they like set that race up like that. I think that it was just the way it happened, just like the first race with drag times and Wheeler won. And in the case of this scenario, it was probably an amateur driving the Lamborghini. I don't even know who drove that Lamborghini on Haggerty. And it could have been either Jason Camisa or Randy Popes that drove the ZR1, and they're both very experienced. So who knows? Maybe that's what it was. You just never know.
Yep. Exactly. So, yeah. Oh, good night, Doug Hooks.
Oh, is he out?
He's got to go out. He's got to head out.
Well, it's good to have you on when we have you on, but good night. All right, next up is the Nurburgring. I know we're talking a lot about the Nurburgring, but I wanted to let you guys know that I came up with another scenario, and I just want to see what you guys think of this. You guys haven't even heard this yet. I wanted to kind of, let you hear it for the first time, just like everybody else. But the newest scenario that I've come up with that makes me believe no matter what, I already pretty much believe that the ZR1 is easily going to take the title from the Mustang GTD because I believe that it's capable of maybe mid 640s in the Nürburgring. But just to prove even further that I think it'll definitely beat it, at least by a full second, is the fact that all you got to do is look at the Stingray Nürburgring time, and it's 7 minutes and 29 seconds. And then you look at the Z06 done by Car Auto. Is that what it was? Car Auto, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
And they got a 7 minute and 10 second. 19 seconds faster than the Stingray. The Z06 only has 175 more horsepower than the Stingray. It's heavier than the Stingray. And it has about double the downforce. Okay? Now let's go to the ZR1. The ZR1 has almost 400 more horsepower than the Z06. It has almost double the downforce. Again, it's like, I think 600 or 500 more pounds of downforce than the Z06. It's just a little bit heavier than the Z06. So why wouldn't we give it at least the same 19 seconds that the Z06 beat the Stingray by? So let's give it that 19 seconds. From 7:10, subtract 19 seconds. That's a 6 minute and 51 second time, if my math is correct.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So that puts us, even without giving it the, hey, this thing has double more horsepower than the Z06 does over the Stingray, and it has way more downforce, we at least know it's probably capable of going 19 seconds faster than the Z06 went. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, at least. At least.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things that go into it. I know we talked about earlier, what are the contributing factors, one being the driver.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
That's another factor. What are some of the variables that, to scale, keep things even or could skew things one way or the other?
The other thing that I was also thinking about is a lot of people they're not giving Chevy or GM the benefit of the doubt here. And they're saying, if they haven't already come out with a number, then we're not getting one, and it's obviously not better than the GTD. Well, I disagree with that. And the reason why I disagree is I feel like they don't want to come out with a number until they know for a fact that it's the best number they can possibly get. I believe that they would have never put out that teaser video that we got back on 6/28 if they had not already beaten the GTD. I feel like that teaser video is telling everyone, guys, we set a record at the Nürburgring. However, just like Ford set a record with the GTD at 6 minutes and 57 seconds and then waited a few weeks and went back and got 5 seconds faster, I feel like maybe GM, instead of putting out, hey, we got this time, but we might want to see if we can go faster than that and then give people 2 times, maybe they're not doing it that way. Maybe they're only going to give us their fastest time, period. And they're going to be done at the Nürburgring. What do you guys think of that?
Don't they have like a certain time slot or time period where they can test the cars, but then they can't go back after that? Or I thought I had heard something where they only have like a certain window when they could do that.
So there are certain windows, but there are multiple windows as far as I know.
Okay.
And they were going to be there for over 3 weeks. So in that 3-week period of time, I know there were some interruptions because there was a Nurburgring race, plus there was some other event at the Nurburgring. So there was, I think, a 3 or 4 day interruption. But other than that, they had it where they were going to be able to stay there for a total of 3+ weeks. Now, they could have left and decided we got a great time. We're not going to discuss it yet because we actually are going to go back. We already know they have the money. They have the money to go back and forth, back and forth. The question is, will they spend the money to do the right thing? And what Joe and I were talking about earlier today, I think is the biggest key factor to this whole thing. We know they have the car. We know that for a fact. We know they have the team around the car. But have they hired the correct driver? And we've talked about this multiple times before. Yes, you guys can use your engineers that are excellent drivers, but that's not smart because they're not professional race car drivers. Yes, you can use your professional race car drivers that drive the C8Rs or any other class within a GM product like a Cadillac, Le Mans car or anything like that. But wouldn't you rather have an expert at the Nurburgring? So there's multiple individuals that do nothing but set lap records. I mean, they are professional race car drivers that compete in different events, and they also do nothing but set records at the Nurburgring, or at least try to. Why not hire one of those types of drivers to ensure that at least you have someone with thousands and thousands of laps under your belt to be able to get that lap that you're, going for. Now, we also know that there are politics there. So there's that hurdle. When the new chief engineer, remind me of his name, I'm drawing.
Was it Rosa?
Roma.
Yeah. I knew it was something.
When Roma stated that there's all these hurdles in their way, I felt like that was kind of a little bit of an excuse, but it was also letting us know that it isn't as easy as maybe some of us think it is. However, I feel like they've been going there for so many years, and they have all the money they need. So there really shouldn't be an excuse.
But then now you're talking about GM's internal bureaucracy of how they're spending their money. They probably have big arguments about that. Is this worth it? They probably have bean counters up there,
Sure.
Wazoo, giving them a hard time. And this also goes back to this whole thing of home court advantage. Mercedes and Porsche, all these German cars, I mean, they can go out there whenever they want. And there have been, going back years, I've heard my share of stories, a little bit of bias out there in the way they discriminate against other brands, and they broke this rule, you got to follow this, you got this red tape tidbit you got to do, and it's like, did you do that to Mercedes? Did you do that to Porsche? Right. Come on, guys, And
there's like I said, there's definitely politics, and they definitely want their home turf advantage to play as an advantage towards people like Porsche and Mercedes, especially.
Yeah, and there is an economic incentive too.
Right.
Again, these are. I mean, America's obviously we're the economic powerhouse of the world. Germany is one of their biggest economics is their cars.
Right.
So they need if they got America whipping their butt on their home turf for half to a third of the price, doesn't do well for them. So they have incentive to throw mud in our tracks, I mean, I'm not saying they would. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying if they did, it wouldn't surprise me. So,
but still, to that point, I feel like that GM would have the capability by now to have worked some things out with people over there and said, hey, this is something new for us. We definitely want to go for a big-time record here. I think that's what Ford had to do.
Yeah.
Ford definitely had to think outside the box, and they had to do whatever it took to make this happen. And I think that Chevy and And really, Tony Roma did say that they were willing to do whatever it took to satisfy their customers, because now they realize what I've been saying for weeks and months now. They realize that they have a new customer.
Yes, and Ford needed it, because I'm sure you may have heard the new Mustang Dark Horse generation sales.
Yeah,
it's the worst in like 30 years.
Yeah.
They are hurting, so they needed the Mustang to make a mark. So they had all the reason, and to their credit, kudos.
Yeah, they did a great job. But it's a $350,000 Mustang. You know, It's got active aero. It's got.
But at least they can honestly say, here is the ultimate Mustang Ford ever built. You know?
And it sounded amazing.
It did. It did.
It sounded
and look, it even beats the GT. Think about that. The Ford GT is now inferior to a Mustang.
Exactly. and the Mustang costs like $150,000 less than the Ford GT did. But it also has another almost 200 horsepower.
Right, yeah.
So there's a little bit of a difference there. And it's got a very powerful V8 with a supercharger on it, and that Ford GT had the V6 with twin turbos.
True.
A little different. Yeah. All right, so that's what I wanted to discuss. I wanted to just bring that point up to you guys and just say, no one else out there has really talked about that. I know Arc Driver does a really great job. He broke it down a few weeks ago of what he thought was the reason why they could maybe get to like a 627, although I don't agree that they can get anywhere close to that, because they're not going to be able to compete with a $3 million, basically F1 inspired Mercedes. But I think they can definitely get to a lower number than the 651 even that we're stating right now. And I believe that we will see a number. That's the two things that I just wanted to let you guys know my thoughts on the Nurburgring, because there's a lot of people out there that are poo-pooing on it and saying we're not getting a number, this is a bunch of nonsense, and I disagree. I think we will.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a reason why they're withholding information. Got to think that no news is good news.
Right.
Keep my fingers crossed that that's the case.
Exactly.
But I know that information is very valuable, and people are just, waiting, on pins and needles to see what it's going to be.
Yep.
But again, there's nothing new here. The whole 7th generation went through this. People started poo-pooing on the C7Z06. Then the videos of C7Z06s smacking Huracans around started popping up, and people were like, okay, never mind. People were saying the same thing. I remember how annoyed we were when we got that 704 time for the C701. Then we found out there was traffic, no prep, the weather, and everything else. And it was like, it did that well with all those factors. I mean, come on. We can't say that was bad. It was all the factors. Yeah. And then of course the 01 started taking its own names, and now here we are. The C8's been taking names for a while now, and a couple years, and I think it's just when we do finally get the numbers. I mean, it sucks having to wait. I wish we'd have had it by now, but
right.
When we get them, whether or not we have a C7 ZR1 situation because of weather or politics or whatever it is, or we go and we blow it out of the park, or something in between. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, whatever they do. So.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to show you guys the new Wheelcraft Dynamic Caps Duo here. So hang on one second.
Oop. Get out of your way here.
Can you guys see that pretty good?
Let me see. There's a delay. Let me see.
As soon as you can see.
Yeah, we
can.
can.
You see me spinning it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
That's awesome.
All right. So let me leave that there for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So Dynamic Caps and Wheelcraft have teamed up so that you guys can get a special with them. So basically, Wheelcraft, if you don't know who they are, they're a company that will take your OEM wheels and they will chrome them for you with a PVD process. It's a super shiny, gorgeous, glossy chrome. They'll do black chrome. They'll do blue, different colors. They'll do whatever you want. And you don't have to send your wheel to them. They will actually ship you the wheels already chromed, and then you just, when you get your old wheels off your car and your new wheels on, you just put your old wheels back in the box that they shipped you the new wheels in, ship it right back to them. There's a label in it already for you, and it's all said and done. So it's a very easy process. But Dynamic Caps wanted to team up with them. So you're seeing the spinner cap on there. It is a floating, the correct term is floating cap. So these are the $135 version, or is it $145 version? But you get 10% off with BOS 10 for the dynamic caps. The other version that you can get, and these are up to about 15 miles an hour, they will stay straight up and down. The other version that you can get are the ones that you saw us install on neighbor Mark's car. Those are $240 versions, and that one is available at 10% off as well. But that one you can drive up to like 60 miles an hour and they still stay straight up and down. So if you contact either one of the companies and you want to get the combination, just let them know the BOS 10 and that Brink of Speed sent you, and they will work out a deal with you for both the Wheelcraft wheel and the center caps that are floating when they deliver the wheels to you. So check those out.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Thanks. And Ed over at Wheelcraft, he's an amazing guy, very easy to talk to, great guy. If you ask anybody on here that's already done the Wheelcraft wheel swap, they'll tell you it's a very simple process, very easy process, and they'll do it at the museum for you. So if you have a museum delivery, you can just have them shipped to the museum and install right there when you take delivery of your car. All right, well, let's go ahead and get on to the main subject. By the way, if you guys haven't seen Super 8 Creations channel, make sure you check his channel out. Give him a subscribe and help him grow his channel. He's got a brand new YouTube channel that he started a few months ago.
Yeah. I mean, inspired by you guys, of course, and I've been fortunate enough to collaborate with you guys on your channels. And it's fun that some of you have reached out to me even and talked to me and given me some suggestions and even asked me some advice. So I really appreciate it. Appreciate your subscription.
Yep. All right. So will this new variant that I talked about in my video last night really come out? I think it's definitely going to come out. But what kind of power are we talking here? Because we already know we've got a 1,250 horsepower ZR1X that was just recently unveiled. We've got the 1,064 horsepower ZR1, and we're about to have something even more powerful than the ZR1X. So Tony Roma made a couple of statements lately. One was on Top Gear, and the other one was on another, I can't remember the other magazine. But the first statement he made was about the Nurburgring, which was stay tuned. We've got a time coming. The second was that the ZR1X is not basically the final boss. It's not the final rendition of, or the variant of the C8 that is going to have crazy power. I think he knew that we already know that there are, the Grand Sport's coming, the SUV is coming, and there's rumors that there's an all-wheel drive Z06 coming.
Well, there's also, I just thought of something. Do you remember when we were theorizing about the ZR1 and the Zora? I forget, what's his name? He pointed out that there was a code for a turbo/supercharger combo.
Oh, yeah.
Code.
Yeah, supercharge, or super ranch. Good Lord.
Supercar Ranch, yes. Yes, remember that?
Is he on here? Yeah, I do remember
Yeah,
that.
what if this was that? Wouldn't that be something? They take that twin turbo setup and then they
cow.
add a blower to this thing.
Holy cow! I never even thought of that.
I just thought of that
Good work.
because it was that VIN number. Because when it all came out, I'm like, then what is up with that VIN number where it had a turbo and it had the coding for a supercharger and a turbocharger?
Yes.
A combo.
Yes.
What if that's the secret?
Dude, I never. Good work coming up with that because I never even thought of that.
All right, if it happens,
Yeah. Well, and that brings me to my next point, which is a lot of you not a lot of you, a few of you out there say things like, well, hang on, I'm trying to get to a photo. Oh, I'm sorry, I clicked the wrong photo. Oh, that's still not it. Where is that photo?
General Lee, I'm with you on that one. I think that would be about right.
Let me check my computer real quick because I think
Excuse me.
what did General Lee say?
He's guessing 1475. That'd be appropriate. I think that would be appropriate.
That's a lot of power.
Yeah, or just get right up to 1500. Yeah.
That is a lot of power. What is going on? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, John, I think they would keep it all-wheel drive. I think just for the stability. I mean, you can do that kind of power on rear-wheel drive only, but you really got to know what you're doing. I think all-wheel drive would just be safer, and it's just a safer bet. Frozen.
Okay,
Frozen again. Really?
No way, really?
Well, we're still looking at the car, right?
My bad.
Oh.
That's probably why they think it's frozen. Sorry, guys, I forgot to click off that picture. Let me.
We're back.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're good. We're good to go. By the way, that picture is of the race car that's going to be at the Corvette Invasion this weekend. So it'll be inside the convention center. All right, I'm bringing this up because I want to show you guys that back in September, and I'll zoom in on this. In September of 2019, I put out a video about what will the Zora look like, basically. September of 2019.
Yeah, I actually remember that one.
And my
I
predictions,
should have watched it again.
my predictions all came true, but for the wrong car.
Yeah.
So they came true for the ZR1. I predicted 1,000 horsepower. I did predict the all-wheel drive hybrid, so the ZR1X got that. But the reason why I bring that up is if you watch that video, back in 2019, people were like, oh, you're just speculating. You know, all this is speculation. Well, let me tell you something. That's what us car guys do. And the reason why we speculate is not just to throw nonsense out there. It's because we have a lot of years of experience. I've been looking at car magazines and reading car magazines since I was 8 years old. So I have a lot of experience knowing what car manufacturers start off at, where they go to, so on and so forth. So when I make predictions, it's not just fly-by-night predictions. And that's why I'm prefacing what I'm about to say about this new variant that we're talking about. Because if you go back through a lot of my videos, you'll see that several years ago, I made certain predictions about C8s, Z06s, things like that. And they mostly came true. And I'm not beating on my chest saying, hey, I'm a know-it-all. No. That's not it at all. It's just to show you that it's because we have a lot of knowledge in the car industry, in the car field of cars. So we're good at guessing. We're good at predicting. And so I actually agree with General Lee. I acted like I didn't, but I actually do.
Oh, well, Supercar Ranch is in, by the way. What did
good.
He's like, what did I do? You
did a lot.
So seriously, you should tell him what you just said.
Earlier, if you're just now coming in, I was talking about how when we were talking about what the ZR1 engine was going to be, when you were investigating the new engine codes that came out, you found one that had kind of a turbo supercharger combo. well, obviously, if we got a twin turbo for the ZR1 and ZR1X is the hybrid, if they're going to do something above that, wouldn't it make sense to take that twin turbo setup and put a blower on top of that?
Yeah.
Already blowed motor?
Yeah. Seriously, because and I think he's got an excellent point. I had totally forgot about that. And so I think that it's a no-brainer for them to do that, because here's one of the questions that I had, which is, how will GM produce more horsepower in this crazy new variant? Because we already know that the only way to really do it without touching that LT7 is to put more power up front. And I don't necessarily know that they're going to do that. I mean, it's an option. They could put two motors. They could do like what Ferrari does, where they put a couple motors up front and then they put a motor in the rear to help the actual engine spool up faster. So
and that would be an extra incentive for why they did the split window, for all that extra ventilation. If you do put a blower up top for that extra heat,
yeah,
it may be a coupe only option, because you might not be able to fit all that in a convertible. No.
Could be. So I do believe that we are getting the car, number one. I do believe that we are getting a car with absolutely insane horsepower. I like what Tony Roma said. He said basically the engineers are not looking at this as an obstacle. They're looking at, like, what can we do further on this amazing platform that we created. And it does not surprise me one little bit. When they came out with the ZR1X, I was like, nothing would surprise me from now on. I mean, especially the ZR1 too, because we were all thinking, I was thinking that car would have 900 horsepower at the most, and I didn't even think it would have that. I thought it would be probably 830 to 850. So when they said 1,064, I was like, what? And then now we have a 1,250 horsepower all-wheel drive car. So why not put out a 1,500 horsepower car that can actually go after cars like Bugatti Chirons and higher up than that? Because, like, now all of the Koenigseggs that are coming out have 1,400, 1,500, 1,700. It's insane what kind of horsepower they're putting out. And you'll be able to buy it, well, if you can even buy one, because that's like a whole nother thing that we'll talk about. But if you can actually get your hands on one, it'll be a fraction of what you would have to pay for these other cars. The other thing that I forgot 100% about, I'm going to bring that picture up again, because I had to rewatch this, and when I rewatched it, I remembered. So, guys, when you see this, what's the number one thing that you notice that's like, okay, the C8 definitely doesn't have that? Yeah. Active Aero. Attaboy.
Yeah.
Active Aero. Okay, so we'll get off of that again. So in that video, there was a company that had put out an article about when they were wind testing the normal C8 Stingray, and it was actually the clay model they were wind testing. There was a picture that was brought up, and it had an Active Aero rear spoiler. And I totally forgot about that. So from 2019, we're talking about Active Aero, and that the Zora, I thought, was definitely going to get the Active Aero. And now everybody that I've talked to, everybody in the comments is saying Active Aero has always been reserved for the Zora. It's like, if they do this, if they basically they were what do you call it when you
Sandbagging? Or?
Sandbagging, yeah. They were sandbagging us when they said, no, we don't want to go Active Aero. We figured out that the static aero on the ZR1 is better overall, yada, yada. I think that was a total sandbag job. And I think they knew, obviously, that the Zora was the one that was getting it. Same with, we didn't want the final, basically best variant to not have ZR1's name, because then it would make the King of the Hill kind of look bad because it's supposed to be the top dog. Well, I think that's BS, because I think that's exactly what's happening. I think we are getting a car that's called the Zora. I think we are getting Active Aero, and I think it's going to be everywhere. I don't believe for a minute that they put out all those patents back in 2018 or 19, whatever it was, where they showed a C7 car with Active Aero on the side, Active Aero on the front, Active Aero on the rear. It had it everywhere. All these patents all over the C7 for Active Aero. They did that to fake us out, like, oh, maybe they were trying to do that with the C7. No, they were planning the C8.
Well, I don't think necessarily were faking us out. Again, whatever
Well,
you
they couldn't show us the C8 body.
Well, no, I know that, but also they're in pre-production testing brand new state-of-the-art equipment. You know,
Yeah.
you test it on a pre-existing platform to test its reliability. They do. Manufacturers do this all the time. I mean, both in automotive and in the aviation field. You know,
However, we do know that last time we went to Ron Fellows, we were told by the director, not the director, but the guy that was directing our class, that they were testing C8s out at Ron Fellows in 2018.
yeah.
Okay?
In plain sight.
In plain sight.
Yeah.
They had them hidden during the day. They had them hidden during the times where the public was there, and they would get them out when the public wasn't there, and they would test them at that track.
Yeah, camouflage all over them. Yeah.
So they definitely had C8s way back when, and they were testing Active Aero on them, I guarantee it, just like the clay model that we saw in that video. So I do believe we're getting Active Aero. That's another thing. Again, how will GM produce more horsepower in this variant? I think what Supercharged or Supercar Ranch came up with could be a possibility. I don't know that it's that exactly. I hope it's that. That'd be even cooler. But I do believe that they could easily do a double motor up front. That's
what I'm thinking
easy.
too. Yeah.
Very easy. And then also they could do the triple motor like we talked. Now the next one is, how much is this car going to cost? Because this is, hang on. There's something I got to say before we go into this cost, because this is another thing that I had forgotten about my video. Guess what I guessed the cost to be of the Zora back in 2019?
Ooh. Didn't you say 250?
No.
I can't remember.
So I said it would start at $175,000.
Oh,
and what did the ZR1 start at?
184.
No, 175.
175.
175.
Yeah.
I thought it was 184.
No, 175.
Damn, see, I'm out of
175.
touch. My bad.
Yeah, the coupe.
Oh, the convertible. Sorry.
The coupe 1LZ started at 175.
Right.
So I was right about 1,000
I'm
horsepower.
thinking of the
I was
convertible.
wrong about hybrid. I was right about the price.
Right.
I was wrong about the Active Aero on the ZR1, obviously. But yeah, so $175,000 is what I predicted back then the Zora would start at. Now, I mean, the ZR1X is probably going to start at 215, 220, maybe even higher than that. I hope it doesn't. I hope it's less than that. I hope it's like 205 or something. But the Zora, I believe, is probably going to be another 20, 30, 40,000 above whatever the ZR1X is.
At least.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of money. I'm just wondering, at that price point, what is it that they are, really competing with when it comes to the performance? Yeah, it's undeniable. It's gonna be a powerful car. But then, with the dealer markups as well, how then will that kind of shift?
Yeah, that's another thing that we
buy.
need to talk about is the dealer markups, because there's a lot of people that are thinking that this will maybe curtail the dealer markups.
Yeah. Well,
Just because of the fact that it is going to lower the value. Like each new variant is going to lower the value of the next.
Right.
So I actually kind of feel bad for ZR1 owners right now, because you thought that you were probably getting the top of the top dog. And now you got the ZR1X that will possibly lower the value of your ZR1, and now the ZR1X is going to be lowered by this one. I don't know. That's just...
Unless, here's a scary thought, everybody. What if the new one with that power is not gas-powered?
No.
And it's a Rimac, and it's all electric.
So that is another comment that's another thing that...
Lord help us.
God have mercy on our souls.
Here's the thing. The same chief engineer, Mr. Roma, actually said that there's no future Corvette coming out that's fully electric anytime soon.
Yes.
Okay?
I think I heard that too,
Yeah. So that's debunked. So it's not fully electric. I believe what I've been saying for at least a year, if not longer now, is going to be true. It is going to be mostly hybrids starting in C9, but C8 is obviously going to have more hybrids than I thought. I only thought it was going to have 2. I thought we were going to have the E-Ray and the Zora, and I thought those were going to be the 2 hybrids. Now it's looking like we're going to get at least 3, and we may get 4 with the Z06 hybrid. Who knows if they're going to do it? I think it would be amazing. I think if you took a poll out there and you said, which would you rather have? E-Ray, a Z06, a Z06 hybrid, or a ZR1? Let's not include ZR1X because that's just crazy. But out of those 4 cars, I think everybody's going to pick the hybrid Z06. Not everybody, because you wouldn't.
No,
because you don't like the sound.
The sound of it's not for me. Yeah,
right.
Engineered insanity. We do. They call it the E-Ray. The E-Ray is the Grand Sport of the C8. It is what it is. They just gave it the wrong name.
But yeah, they did give it the wrong name. But I believe we're getting a Grand Sport as well. I believe that we're getting the Grand Sport. I believe we're getting a SUV. We're getting probably something to do with a Z06 all-wheel drive, and now we're getting a crazy 14, 15, 1600 horsepower variant that's going to blow away everything. Real quick, I want to address what, who is it? Larry Roush asked, what is Active Aero? So the quickest, easiest way to explain Active Aero is it instead of a static spoiler or a static wing in the rear or anywhere on the car, it actually moves with the speed of the car and what you're trying to accomplish with the car. So the reason why Active Aero is so important, especially when you're on a track like the Nurburgring, is because when the ZR1 is on that long, like 3 mile long straight, it's got drag that it cannot get rid of because there's nothing active about any of the aero on the ZR1. So it's only going to be able to hit a certain mile per hour. Just like when they do top speed runs with these cars, they use the non-ZTK high wing packaged car to hit 233 miles an hour. If they took that high wing out there, it might hit in the 220s, but it's not hitting 233. So what Active Aero does is it's the best of both worlds. It gives you the drag and the downforce when you need it, and none of that when you don't need it. So when you're in a straightaway and you're trying to hit max speed, you have zero drag. You still have downforce, but you have zero drag. So that's the best explanation that I can come up with for Active Aero. It's usually hydraulically, the way that it works is with hydraulics. So it moves in and out, up and down, side to side, whatever they're going to do with it. That's how it works with hydraulics. So we're hoping that that's what's going to happen with the Zora. I hope they have it on the front. I hope they have it on the sides. I hope they have it on the rear, because that would totally make this car what it should be, which is a proper hyper car that I'm going to call hyper-Vette 2. 2.0.
I'm gonna inflict my bias. I'm going to call it the SS.
There you go. Hey, that's cool too. They could call it the ZR1 SS or the C8 SS or whatever. That'd be amazing.
I like CR1 SS, the combination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
It's a cool, definitely a cool name. So Joe came up with a good question, and that is, what's behind the need to buy a car with such horsepower? And before you jump and say, well, there's no such thing as too much horsepower, because I know lots of you are going to say that. What was your reason for asking that?
Well, I was just thinking that, when you start to get to these numbers, these high-priced numbers, and the cars, having that much performance, it's a matter of now, why do we really, you can't really use all that horsepower. Who's really qualified to drive a car that fast? Where would you drive it? And it almost becomes unimaginable. The fact that you get that car just because you can, as opposed to, can you really use
That's
this
what
as,
somebody just said.
yeah. Is it livable, or is it just just a very expensive fast paperweight? What are you going to do with something that's
exactly
that fast?
And here's the thing: even the ZR1 by itself, even like less than the ZR1, the Z06, the E-Ray, but let's go to the ZR1. If you listen to that Wheeler guy, and there you go, bragging rights. If you listen to the Wheeler guy, he explains it really well. He says, in Florida, they have a new law. It's called the Speeder's Law or something like that. And if you get caught going 30 over, they take your car and they put you in jail for 30 days. Okay? That law is starting to probably go around the country. I know Texas has a law now. If you get caught racing and it's, certain speeds that you're racing, same thing. You're going to get thrown in jail. They're going to take your car from you. So even with my E-Ray, even with a Z06, the Stingray's a little less likely to do this. But with those two cars, you can get to double and triple the speed limit really fast. With the ZR1, Wheeler explained he was hitting triple the speed limit in like no time at all. Like he got into it and he's just like, I had to get out of it because it's like, I'm already going triple the speed limit. So that's with 1,000 horsepower. Then you go 1,250 and it's even worse. Then you go 1,500 and you're like, this is stupid. It's cool, but it's also like, what in the world are you going to do with that power? And are you going to be responsible with that power? Just like on Spider-Man, it says, with great power comes with great responsibility. Well, same thing with the car. You got to have a head on your shoulders to know that you're either going to get in trouble with the cops, or you're going to be in the hospital, or you might not even make it to the hospital. You might be in 6 feet under because you weren't thinking smartly when you bought that car. It's kind of like a crotch rocket, these young kids get out of high school, they've ridden some dirt bikes, or maybe they've never even ridden a motorcycle, and they go out and buy a motorcycle that has 150 horsepower or maybe even 200 horsepower, and it's a 350-pound bike, and they can go from 0 to 200 miles an hour in like no time flat, and they end up dead. It's kind of that same scenario when you have a 1,500 horsepower car. When you really think about it.
Yeah. Well, okay, case in point. I had a situation yesterday. I had to drive, and I'm not kidding you. I drove 2 different C8s, a combined 320 miles yesterday. So I put a lot of mileage in a short amount of time. And I'll tell you, just getting out of the gas station, get up on that ramp, and again, I typically, my daily was a 300 horsepower car, and I just get out a little bit. All of a sudden, I'm like, whoa, I'm at 80. Holy crap. Like, it's, if you're not used to just doing that kind of driving frequently, you realize, man, this thing's stupid fast already. But, at the end of the day, what happens is you drive it for a while, you give it all it's worth, and also some people get bored. It's never enough until they find that sweet spot. And again, there are some people that are never satisfied. Here we are. Just 2 months ago, we're at 1,064 horsepower, and we're seeing now naysayer comments. Oh, we may have lost to a Lambo. It's like, It's 1,000 horsepower Corvette with a 230 mile an hour top speed. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, have we really watched so many short videos that we've gotten this ADHD? Come on, people.
Yeah, and think about what he said he paid for his car. He paid a third of what the guy paid for the Lambo. Actually, that Lambo, I think it was even more than that. I think he paid, if I'm correct, almost $700,000 for that Lambo.
Yeah.
And Wheeler paid like $220,000, I think, for his Z06.
Yeah. And I heard somebody also try to say that even the Lambo is not a hypercar. Since when is a 1,000 horsepower car not a hypercar? Like, what is going on here?
It's because these people have in their heads that the car has to be super rare. It's got to be 100% carbon fiber.
No, that's never been a standard.
It's got to cost a certain amount. It can't be under $1 million.
That's never been the standard ever.
No, I mean,
no, that's made up.
If you are in our generation, or even Joe's generation, and you read magazines, Car and Driver, Road and Track, Motor Trend, back in the 90s when the ZR1 came out, they said it was a supercar. This wasn't a Chevy person saying it was a supercar. This was drivers that drove the Ferrari Testarossa, the Lamborghini Countach, the McLaren F1, the Dodge Viper, all these cars, and they get in a ZR1 and they're like, this is a supercar.
Yes, a supercar, the original standard when the C4 ZR1 came out, because again, the talk was they're bringing a Corvette supercar back, something we hadn't had since 1971, a long time. That was the ZR2, for those that don't know. And here we are. We're back. We're back in the supercar status. They asked the question, well, what is a supercar? Well, at the time, a supercar was a two-seat sports car with excellent handling and at least a minimum of high 300 horsepower to 450 horsepower. That was the minimum for a supercar.
Yeah.
And then, since then, obviously, you adjust for the times.
Yeah.
Right now, the standard of a supercar, by all modern definition, is 500 horsepower to around 780 horsepower.
Yeah.
And then once you get over 800, now you're in hypercar territory. Yeah. Period.
I've always thought once you get over 1,000, you're definitely in hypercar.
Period. You're hypercar.
Yeah. I mean,
I was going to say, I also think too that, when you're getting, and I think I saw someone in here said that when you're getting to and eclipsing 200 miles an hour, a car that potentially can do over 200 miles an hour, most of us will never have an opportunity to go that fast in a car, but to have one bona fide that can do it, I mean, you've got to really rate that car pretty high as far as it being a supercar or, approaching hypercar, depending on what other, contributing factors that go into that car.
Exactly. And if you go by that standard, right off the bat, that's C6 Z06, C6 ZR1, C7 Z06, C7 ZR1, and almost the C8 Stingray, but in Z06, and then, of course, the ZR1s and so on. So it's like, so there's already a pile of Vettes even by that standard in that class. It's crazy.
All right, so that's going to do it for the crazy new variant. Real quick, while we have a bunch of people in here, I just want to show this again. So you guys see my shirt. You know what I've got on. Let's go to camera 2. It says hyper-Vette on the front with the ZR1X, and then on the rear, you've got I'll see you out on the road and the really cool BLS logo in the background. These are on sale right now at thebrinkofspeed.com. Whoops, hit the wrong button. So if you're interested in buying one, go on thebrinkofspeed.com, purchase it. They're in all the different sizes. So you got, all the way up to, I think, 4XL.
Yeah, 4X. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
And Joe, are you still doing hats?
Doing hats? Still doing hats.
Joe made the BOS hat I'm wearing, and he made this Corvette World hat over here.
Yep.
And
he's amazing.
Yeah.
His merchandise
seriously
is off the charts. I haven't seen a single person that ordered it not say great things about his merchandise, and I've got a lot of his merch. So
I appreciate it. I was telling Mike that the biggest reason why I haven't been able to make more content is because I'm busy making merch and trying to keep up, and that is like my second full-time job now.
Absolutely.
So I don't want people to come back and say, well, if you weren't making so many videos, you can get our merch faster. So I do appreciate everyone's patience, and it's a passion and a labor of love. So thank you so much for your support.
But guys, thank you for bearing with us in the beginning there. I'm sorry that what happened. Give this video a big thumbs up. give Joe Lamb a thumbs up for being our guest tonight. It was awesome having him. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, can I give a shout out to my wife?
Absolutely.
I want to give a shout out to my dear, sweet wife, Jerry. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here tonight. I'm having a great time.
Yes. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll see you.
Corvette Invasion for those that are going.
Yeah, we'll see you guys at the Corvette Invasion.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, I will not be able to make it, but these guys are going. I was going to say, he will see you at Corvette Invasion.
That's right.
Come
We'll
on.
see you down there. You guys have a good night.